All right, welcome everybody. We're episode number 11 here on This Week in Accounting AI.
Holy cow.
I know, right?
11.
Yeah, mid-May.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, Memorial Day is right around the corner.
It's crazy. It's already here.
It's a big deal for Jersey.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
I'll
the
be down
Jersey
celebrating.
Shore. Yeah, but of course, I heard the weekend may not.
That's always
Great weather.
It's always that way.
Yeah. So we wanted to dive in and talk to you about, I think, two pieces. One, just A16Z, Sima, Amal, and Steph Zang put out corresponding pieces that I thought were real interesting and very much validating what we're seeing, which we're going to get into. But just as I guess to summarize what these pieces really talked about is that there will be this intelligent layer. They see that running over the accounting system of record, right? So we could refer that as to the ERP. It could be like your GL, however, right? Like wherever your source of truth is, there's a sense that what's really starting to come to light is this intelligent layer that you're going to run over that. But like how important the context of what that data, it's going to be, your data is going to mean more than it ever has, because you have to have the right data in there. You got to if agents are going to run in this agentic world, how important it is that it's running on the right context and that it'll give you the insights based on what this data looks like. So we had our Bourbon and Bookkeeping event.
Yeah, we did.
The other night, which you were a great host.
You
did a wonderful job, and shout out to a lot of the Wiss folks who helped put that together. Mark Peterson did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, he's the welcome guy.
He is an awesome guy, and he also does some bartending on the side, so that was a big plus.
Yeah,
and also Clay did a great job putting everything together.
I walked into a completely different office.
Yeah,
2 weeks ago to today, completely different.
Yeah.
So it was so grateful. It looked awesome.
So really great observations, and I think that's what's really great is that, like, for us, we really do try to validate our thinking
all the time, right? If you're not questioning yourself, you're an idiot, I think.
Totally. No, and I think that's the whole thesis of the Wiss Labs is like we've been really trying to pilot, design, get a sense of what founders want to build and what we see as what we think accountants will use, but also market acceptance. So we had this great population, great sample of people, different industries, different roles. We had founders, we had controllers, we had CFOs, we had other advisors.
We had COOs, ops people.
Yeah, it was great, right?
Yep.
So give me what your take was and you know, your learnings from.
Yeah. I mean, there's multiple takes and multiple learnings, obviously, from what we did. But I think at the beginning, it's like everybody's just interested to continue to learn here. So people walked in the room and I think universally agree, we saw this tool, pick any one of the tools, a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Tell us where it is today. What's going on? What's changed? What are we learning? And then secondly, how are we going to accept this into our everyday life? Like, what are the things that we're actually going to use? So I think we're moving from, I'm going to use terrible terms, but like theoretical AI to like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Like, how do we use this? So we tried to make the presentation more tactical. Like what we did was we specifically started by saying, let's just take the area of prepaids, for instance, and let's just look at that workflow, how it currently gets done. And then in a more optimized state, how would that get done? So we tried to add some more like tangible things, but again, every company is so nuanced. So it's still even impossible to make that universally understood, but I think we gave them something to look at. So back to your question, learnings are people are still tremendously hungry, and I don't think that's going away. I do also feel like there's still just a tremendous amount of tools, and they have a really difficult time discerning between what's a well-funded, well-popularized startup that might not be so great versus what are the things we haven't heard of that could be cool, and just getting a feel for where they should be in the market. So nobody wants to feel left behind.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you a couple of the questions that I had heard and that you had helped answer, right? So I think one of them was in these tools, so like this intelligence layer, right? And so you and your team were demoing one of our intelligence layers.
Yes.
Okay. And the question was, is there going to be this ability for the audit trail to be there?
Really important
Yes.
question. And it's funny because you look at yourself sometimes, you're like, what the heck? I was an auditor for 25 years and never before had I actually thought about it, like
Mhm.
the audit trail of these tools. And it's funny because one of our internal people actually did bring this up quite a while
That
ago
helped
to
design this
basis,
product.
correct,
Yes.
to explain that it needed an audit
Yeah.
trail. And so it wasn't top of mind for me. It wasn't any part of my mind. And when one of the CFOs in the room asked the question, I was like, oh, that's a really good point. And we were lucky enough to have two of the basis engineers in the room, as well as Steven Silva from our team, who was like key on the product. And they were able to show, I think, some of the ability that gets talked about a lot with basis is the orchestration layer and the fact that it's able to select based upon the query that's
Yeah.
made, right? Like, so what they do is they take a question and they break it down into like 50 or 60 component parts. And then their agent orchestration chooses the best available frontier
Yeah,
model to answer each individual part of that question to come back with a cohesive answer. So that's one thing, right? But that's not giving you any insight into what actually was done
Mhm.
by like on behalf of if you think about it like the overall agent that's overseeing the sub agents, is that overall agent provides an output of exactly what it did. And it was enlightening to be able to open up to the room and it says, I am going to, and it qualifies everything before it does it, examine the 2026 expense ledger for the following accounts, looking for thresholds above this. We can call it any keywords we're looking for, and then it reports back, exactly what it did. So you're able to follow through and see exactly what was carried out. And obviously in the beginning, you're testing like crazy. Like, did it do this? Did it miss something? And over time you get more comfort, like that it's got accuracy.
That observation you just shared is huge. It's huge, and I think what people have to understand, and again, this is what we're trying to do is just not only evangelizing. First of all, plug for Wiss Labs because that's why we want people to build with us because we will understand what the account needs
Yeah.
to have embedded into the system.
Correct.
And I mean, we see this
By the
every
way, for sure, because I am a career auditor
yes.
and never thought about the audit
Yeah,
step.
and this is why we have to ask people
Yeah.
that are in it every day. It's like, hey, like what's important and what's and building the way that we have and the coordination with these, founders is so important, right?
Without a
So
doubt.
that's one aspect to it. But the other thing I think, which is really what I want to drive home, is agents. Okay, like we hear this word agents, and I think again, like there's all of these all this terminology being used, and what I want someone to understand is that just like all an agent is it's something that's doing the work on your behalf.
Right.
Okay. So in our world, before any of this AI stuff, this was an account,
Yeah.
right? So all we're doing now is, and I want everybody to understand, it's like, so the importance of the agent has to be prescriptive. Like you have to prescribe what it is that you want the agent to do on your behalf.
Right.
And then you need to understand that you got to have trust around, is this agent doing
Is it going to do what I told
what I'm
it to-
asking it to do? And how do I validate that trust?
Sure.
Right? So you validate that trust, or how do you determine credibility? You do that by understanding, well, tell me what you did.
Right.
And that's what you would do with a human being. You would
Right.
say to a human being, oh, thank you for the schedule that you gave me on Excel. Where'd you get this from? How did you do this? How did you come to these
Yeah.
conclusions? And then that person would give you an explanation that's no different than what this intelligent layer is doing. And that's what's really cool about the design of it, is that it includes all of the ways in which it came to those conclusions.
Correct. And it also has validation layers that are post the agentic work that actually go back and check the work. So
Right.
that's a really important feature. And I think adding even a finer point to, like, we went into prepaids as part of our presentation. We had to pick something. We're like, let's pick something easy. Nothing's easy, but what happened before any agentic tools existed is I would be the CFO of a company and I'd be like, oh, we got to make the prepaid schedule for the auditors and we got to record prepaids. And you would call somebody in and you'd be like, all right, you got to look through like you knew the usual suspects. Look through insurance.
Well, let's just
look
use
through
one line item: prepaid insurance.
prepaid insurance, right? So historically, they would go to the insurance contract and they would pull it out, and it'd be like $12,000 for the year. Intuitively, you're like, oh, it's $1,000 a month. And you read the contract and you're like, actually, it's split up over 12 payments or 10 payments applicable for. So you're like, oh, that's how the prepaid is derived. And then you've got to put together how much of this did we pay through now. All of that takes time. There's not really a lot of accounting craft that goes into it. You don't need to go to school for 4 years and a master's and a CPA license. You could describe that to a 9th grade student. They'd be able to figure it out. Yet an inordinate amount of time of the accounting profession is spent doing that.
Yeah.
The beauty of this, where we sit even today with the agentic workflow, is we're able to instruct the agent, look through not only insurance, but we described all the other accounts, and it has context from other work that it's done to look through software, licenses, and do all of them at once, reference the contracts, and come back. And the like a step and a feature that we now see in Claude, which is pretty interesting, how it's like gone the other way, where the frontier models are surely learning from other tools that are out there. They verify your question and feed back to you. This is the prompt I'm about to carry out. I am going to scan the entire general ledger with a focus on, and you can see exactly what it's going to do. And now we don't need that individual account doing that anymore. They're going to get the feedback. And that's where they'll actually provide more value.
Yeah, and I think to add one piece about that, the coordination that it will do on behalf of individuals gets amplified. Like the accountant gets amplified.
Without a doubt, because now I'm doing prepaid insurance, prepaid software costs.
All of it. And you're getting the right information, because what will happen in the agentic world, if it goes and looks for, I'm trying to record prepaid insurance for the 2026 calendar year.
Right.
And it goes out there and gets the contract. And the contract that it's looking at in the file is 2025's contract. And it expired. It's going to tell you that.
I know.
Right? And we've had many people that took information from the wrong, didn't see the date. Again, that happens, right? But it's human. Like over and over and over again, we see the lack of coordination in the company, right? Or in any organization, which drives the bad accounting. Right. And then there's nobody that's serving as this 24/7, like validating policeman.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's just, there's so much accounting to be done.
Yeah.
And there's so much room for error.
Yeah.
With a human involved in things that are very repetitive, boring. Like those things are just ripe for, there's going to be something wrong with it. Now, this tech is going to be far from perfect for a while, but we'll be able to also identify areas of weakness, areas of strength, and those will be somewhat new skill sets, and we'll be able to go back and either retrain the model, retrain the way that we use the model, increase the prompt or decrease the prompt based upon what we need dialed up or dialed down. So it's spotting a different kind of error, but it's ideally eliminating the time that really isn't good for human development.
That's right. And so let's talk about the second question that was asked and we get a lot of this in the conversations that we've had with many people around AI, is like, well, talk to me about the hallucinations.
Right.
So it was interesting, right? So if you remember, do you remember how Basis answered that question?
I don't.
Okay.
I
do.
Don't.
So it was interesting. And this is about how I want to frame this.
I had a bourbon.
Yeah. I love the one. I love the one participants got concerned because one of the demonstrators' computer was starting to lose battery. And she's like, "I've had 2 bourbons, and you may want to check your computer. Like, you're running out of battery. Plug it in. It's making me feel bad for you." But I think when you think about this. This question about hallucination, I love that the answer was, well, think about it this way. First of all, and we talked about this, like one of the things that you're going to find with an intelligence layer is the intelligence layer is confidence intervals, right? Is built on, it's going to tell you, I feel very confident about how this has been done because I've seen it been done before. and I've seen it verified before.
Right.
So if it was verified before and I've seen it multiple times, it increases my confidence.
Right.
Okay. And as a system, which is different from human, the system now, like as a reviewer or anyone else coming in, you're like, oh, wow, I even have more confidence because it's training itself, right?
Right.
That training is now visible, right? So that training, it's not more interpretive. Like you always wonder, is this person getting it or not? Right. And this is it's getting it, right? So, okay. So the responsibility is still the human to help with decreasing the amount of hallucinations.
Correct.
Okay. The other thing, but again, what I loved about the base is that just understand, like, yes, we're pretty comfortable with that it doesn't hallucinate not a lot. And we even had verifiability included from the people that are using the product, right?
Right.
Like saying like, no, I really haven't really seen much of that. But I love this. This is the worst the system's ever going to be.
You know what? Now I recall exactly the
Yeah.
answer. I
This
remember
is
when they said
the worst
Yeah.
it's ever going to be,
Yeah.
right?
What's a cool feature that actually we did demo for a bit was the confidence interval it had with respect to each of the things that it carried out.
Yeah.
Like that was a really cool, and it was like high confidence, moderate
Green, yellow, red.
confidence. Yeah, just so easy to understand. And when you look at the high confidence stuff, it even provides you everything that it did in there to verify why it's high confidence. You're like, oh,
Yeah. And you can go check it.
I know.
Listen, I'm highly confident, but like, if you're the human in the loop, you want to go check it, go ahead. Here's how you do that. And here's where I got the information from, right? So I thought that was really cool. And I just love where it's like, it's only going to get better.
I know.
You know?
It's incredible.
But I think, again, like people are trying to find reasons almost not
Of
to.
course.
And then the third one, and we're going to wrap here, is just, I think this is pretty cool too, is we've had this conversation over and over again, right? Well, if this is so good, aren't accountants going to lose their jobs?
I remember this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I loved it. You know,
I know.
I love the room, by the way. I
So
loved the room because what I love about this event, we're going to put more events on like this, it wasn't us speaking to you or preaching to you, which is like most accounting education. Most things you go to, and nothing's wrong with a panel, right?
Sure.
Like it's fine. But what I love is that the users of the event drove the event.
Yeah, I would say it was with you.
Yes,
like we're in the same because we don't know.
Thankfully, but again, like this is what we need more in accounting.
Yeah,
it's like we're like we gotta stop lecturing down to people,
right,
and start like just working with people and solving problems collectively. But anyway, this question was very.
It'll be great. So if this is embraced and utilized again, the long term, who the heck knows? Like, why make guesses? In the immediate term, this is going to give every accountant an uplift and an opportunity to be accelerated from where they are, right? The amplification of the accountant. So the answer to that question is I would overlay that with the software developers conundrum that started at the beginning of the dawn of the LLMs. And the immediate thing was, we don't need software developers anymore. Done. This is a core task of these models. And yet we have found the exact opposite of that, that when you get good at something, you identify more problems to solve. And accounting, in my opinion, is going to be no different than that. Because if we just take the example of prepaid insurance that we went through, and now you've got a low-level accountant, or a lower, I don't want to make it sound derogatory, got a lower-level accountant that no longer needs to do that. The immediate next thing is going to be, what do you think your boss is going to do with that data you give to them? You're going to give them a prepaid insurance schedule. They're going to verify it. Well, verify it now. You don't need them to tell you to go verify it. That should be, and then if you're inquisitive, you should start asking more questions about, well, how is this derived? Is there a way for me to make it better? How can I have an impact? And you'll be tasked with, as long as you're willing to participate in it, far more valuable activities than verifying against the contract that 10 payments were made on a 12, like just the most inane part of the job.
Yeah.
So I can't see in any short term where there's a reduction in the need for accountants. Again, long term, who knows? I don't know.
Well, look, I think even we don't know what actual jobs will be created as a result of all this, right? There's going to be a very different landscape that we will be in 2030 than we are today. But I think I was so happy that I actually asked the question because I think it leads people to really examine the importance of doing this now, because the accounting is on average bad, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, and what we mean by that when we define bad, it's just that it takes a lot of effort.
Yep.
We're finding it very hard to close the book still. So all the blocking, the tackling, the real general levels of trying to just get the accounting into some type of report, okay, on a timely basis is still extremely difficult. So just that alone,
Right.
well, that problem hasn't even been solved. So I
Right.
think that your starting point is in such a deficit to begin with that it's hard to, I would think like the immediate thing is going to be, you're going to need more accountants because just like what Claude is doing now, if you use it, you're seeing that you could be doing so much more.
Right. That was my point. If I didn't make it fine
No,
enough.
you made it great. I'm just like, I'm hammering it.
7 times.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
gotta hear
that's what
things
people
before
need
they
to-
soak
yeah,
it in.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, perfect. We just wanted to give like a brief sort of overview of our findings,
Mhm.
make it as condensed as possible as we could, so that you got a great understanding of the 3 most important items that we came from our observations, and this is what from an actual sample, not just from our minds.
Right. That was the nice part. Is
Yeah.
this was outside party bringing questions to us that we were like, oh, these are
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. It's nice to have validation. We'll see you next week. That's a wrap on This Week in Accounting AI. If you found this useful, make sure to follow us. On Spotify, smash that follow button on our show page. And on Apple Podcasts, tap the plus sign and leave us a quick rating while you're there. I'm Paul Peterson. See you next week.